Okay, welcome to the NLP Sales Masterclass. My name is David Crane, joined by Darish Sudi. I want to go now into the very nuts and bolts of closing techniques. There's so many different ways of doing the sale, and you talk about your product and you find out what the client wants and you listen to the client, and rather than talking and doing your entire pitch. But that bit about closing and getting the business is probably the hardest thing that anybody has to deal with. What's the secret to that success?
Okay. The biggest challenge is that we often start the sales process without the end in mind. Okay, so if I met you and I was going to sell my course of sales training, for instance, to yourself, I wouldn't say, "Oh, hi Dave, tell me about your challenge in sales," and then we talk for an hour, then I'll try to close you. Okay, what if I said to you, "Hi Dave, the reason I'm here is to see if there's an interest from your end in regards to my sales training courses. If there is an interest, if I feel there's a synergy, at the end of this meeting I'll be looking at potentially two of us doing business. Would that be okay with you?" So you get that preconditioned agreement with that client. So when it comes to the end and you go through all their objections and hopefully you overcome it, all the areas where they have potentially reservations, you overcome it. We go through all the sales training course. Then you turn and say, "Okay then, are you happy with what you see?" "Yes, I am." "Do you see any areas where we can't do business together?" "No." "In that case, when would you like us to start?" Often, price becomes an issue when you haven't built value. And when you close too early, when you haven't overcome all the people's objections, or areas in their mind when you haven't answered. Always before you close, ask if they're happy with everything they see. Do they have any reservations? And if you can't overcome it, don't close. Come back when you have the answers to the reservations. Because you can see somebody 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times. As long as every time you see them, you're enhancing their lives. You're not wasting their time. The worst thing is, people come for interviews with me, sales interviews. They try to become salespeople for us. And they travel halfway across the country, spend 2 hours seeing me, and at the end I say, "Okay, thank you, I'll call you." They get up and walk out. I cannot believe it. I'll never employ that person because he never closed me. And if he can't close himself for a deal, am I going to trust him to close my products out in a market fit? I'm not. So I always say to people who leave, although I'm not going to employ them, I say, "Come back and sit down. Ask me if I have any reservations." So they say, "Is there any reason why you can't hire me?" I said, "Yes, there is." I said, "Why is that?" I said, "Well, I don't like the color of your tie." Okay? Sometimes people get really hurt and upset by it. And I said, "Actually, this is just a form of rejection. The way you overcome it is say, if I changed my tie, would you hire me?" I say, "No, because I don't like your shirt." And they say, "If I change my shirt," and often they keep asking, and I teach them until I have no more reservations. But the funny thing is, people take objections personally. The reason I say I don't like your tie, because it's personal. Because I like my red tie. But if my prospect doesn't like it, it's just his opinion. I shouldn't take it personally. So often when I close people, I get a no. And I actually value it, and I thank them for the no. But I find out why it's a no. Okay? Because the last thing I want is to go for an interview, drive home, for a week wait and wonder if they're going to buy me, if they're going to offer me a position, and I get a really demeaning, degrading email saying, "We keep your name on file." How many of people I see, out of 100 people, 99 people, go and see someone, have the most amazing meeting, leave them the proposal, go home and wonder why they haven't called. And they call the customer, or the prospect, they call the prospect, and after a while they feel terrible. They feel that they're pestering that prospect. Okay, and they never call him again, knowing that that proposal that I worked on for a week has gone into the inbox and eventually in the bin.
So what's the best way to deal with that? What would you say in practical steps they should do?
Honest. Be honest with people. Send them an email. It's incredible. I went to a client a couple of weeks ago and they had a number of people that they spent a lot of time with. They build their hopes, they put the proposal forward and decide not to go ahead. So why don't you send them and say, "Hang on, no hard feelings. You may have decided to go with somebody else, but you know what, we spent 5, 6 good meetings. From my point of view, they were really good meetings. So I can learn for my future. Where did I go wrong? Did I go wrong?" And it was funny, this particular client was huge, and they'd given up on this prospect. And he was a multi-million dollar prospect. And when I sat them down, I said, give me your biggest challenge. And said, this particular prospect we met so many times, and he just disappeared. We gave it on a Thursday, he went over a weekend, and we never heard from him again. And I heard he's given it to somebody else, so we don't want to do business with this guy again. I said, how much is business worth? It's about $10 million a year. So I said, okay, give me their email. Do you mind if I email him? So I sent an email saying, dear so-and-so, we were so excited to see you. We were so excited about this proposal. We don't know what happened. And I don't want to keep pestering you. I don't want to belittle myself because I'm a professional. I've been in the business 15 years. And I don't want you to belittle me by just not replying. So just tell me so I can learn from my mistake what we went wrong. Was it price? Was it service? Was it me? And incredibly, within 10 minutes, the client emailed back saying, oh, I am so sorry. It wasn't you. I got stuck in Iceland due to the volcanic ashes, and you've been such a great email, and I feel terrible the fact that I haven't been in touch because I've been catching up with work. I had to give it to my old supplier because I knew it was a safe call. They knew me, but from now on all my future business is going to come through to you. On top of that, I'll send your proposal to the head office back in Europe who are going to do business with you.
Wow.
Just one email. And we were dancing and celebrating in the office because we'd given up. We'd given up. But we were trying to find reasons. Oh, he's a bugger, he hasn't done this, we call him names and that. Really, we weren't open to it. And we said, no hard feelings. Just teach me. Where did I go wrong?
So the bottom line is, ask.
Ask. Ask. And stop thinking, if I ask, they're going to think this. Ask and find out. Be open-minded. Be polite. Be well-mannered. But be assertive. Be assertive. And it goes back to having a little bit of urgency, a hunger. Often, what I like, in our lives, we've had our ups and I've had our downs. The worst thing, or the best thing, is that we often forget our down times because when we're up, it's always good to tap into it, because when you're down, especially with men, we feel like real men because the fighter in us comes out. Okay? So wouldn't it be good to have the fighter in us when our stomachs are full? Instead of having to be at the bottom of the pile, trying to fight your way up all the time. It's a hard struggle. So tap into that hunger, although you may have millions in your bank account, your belly may be full, but have that drive and urgency. Okay? If it's not for you, be for your kids, for your family, for the charity you're going to support, okay? For the good you're going to do. Okay? Put a time scale to it, quantify it, and commit to it.